Once again, we're on the right hand floor pan here. Just ground out here to expose the spots which goes onto the chassis. And I suppose you can see it. If you go that way, you can probably see it anyway. What I've done, I've drilled a small pilot hole through the centre of the spot welds. And then what I'm going to do is use this tool you get on eBay. It's like a little cutting tool with a stationary centre. The centre's not a drill bit, it's only like a little guide. So and then you've got these little teeth. So what that'll do there is into the hole like that. And then it cuts through like that where the spot would be. I'll do the rest of those and then might peel that back maybe and get an idea where we're going from there. Now this is that floor pan, front floor pan right hand side. What I did was I used the that little spot welder drill bit hole saw you get on eBay, and then you just cut it, and look at that, fantastic, you know, just leaves a little bit there, and then what you can do, you can grind them off flat, and you've got the little divot hole as well, which is on this tool. But this tool is so good, it's got double-ended ceramic teeth, like double-ended teeth, and then you can actually undo that and turn it around. The centerpiece is only like a little nail, not a drill bit, so, and you get spares in the kit as well, so actually quite a bloody handy little tool that. So yeah, so that's how easy it is to open up the chassis. And then what I can do when I get back further around here, this area here, I can do that repair in the chassis down there. Yeah, so I thought I'd just get things ready on a Sunday, ready for Carl to come up on the Monday, have a look and play. Alright.
Well, we've just turned it into a Flintstone car.
Yeah, foot controls through the ground. So we're taking out the floor pans now, and then but we're going around the chassis, so keep the main strength within that chassis, of course. There's a double skin there, which what we'll do is we'll grind them off. Once we get into the chassis, we'll be fixing that small little dent there, and there's a bit of a rip there. And then, it's all happy days after that. Now this cross member across here will keep our spacing between the chassis. So we're not taking both chassis offline at one time, we're going to do one at a time, and that way it'll hold its shape without twisting up. And that's how we find the spot welds.
That's it. What did you have for lunch? You have your roll?
Yeah. Okay, right hand side in the footwell. Now we're just taking all the spot welds out and then peeling it open to the chassis. In the chassis it looks like it's been galv at some stage. So what we'll do is then we'll start taking all these little nibs off here from the tool we'll use and to de-nib it with the spot welds. Still got a few extra little bits along here to do, right at the very front there. But once this is open now, we can get in there and we can cold gowl it and we can neutralise it with some rust neutraliser. And then we'll just take all these other pieces off, grind it all flat, fit the floor pan to the chassis rail. Okay,
Tech screws.
with tech screws. This is where we're up to the stage now where we've ground all the surface here to make it all flat. The remains of the spot weld leaves little dimples there. But seeing it's all just fresh metal, even though we're not doing nothing right at this moment, this is weld through zinc primer. So we're just going to protect the steel. And if you look inside the chassis, it looks like it's gouged. We've still got a repair to do down the bottom there on that hole. So we've had a bit of a pull at it. But what we're going to do, I was saying earlier, is I'm going to put another plate on the inside to make it even harder again. That way, you know, if you ever got to pull on that again, it'll be there to be pulled on. So all little things you do like this is just a little bit of added protection. When we're finished in here, we'll give that a good coat, get some neutraliser up in there to give that a, you know, rust stabiliser, and we'll give it a paint as well. So just for the time being, you know, a bit of moisture in the air, we'll just stop a bit of rust going on there, make it nice and neat. And then what we'll have to do is fit the floor pans after this. That's right. This is the lower part of the chassis on the right hand side where they've actually ripped it with a chain. They've actually hooked a chain in there at some stage. What we've done was split it down because it was stretched out so much. And now what we do is we're going to weld that, butt weld it all the way through. And then we've got a plate that we're going to put on the inside of that. There's a little bit of a ding here as well. But yeah, so other than that, it's coming along quite nicely. What we'll be doing is putting this plate in there. So this plate will actually go on the inside of the chassis, and then what we do is put the hole back in the chassis again, gives it extra strength. That way if it ever has to go back on a stretcher again, or any sort of means or wires or anything. So, but once again, we're not here for a quick fix, we're here for a good fix. So this is on the other side too, once again, where it's been ripped, stretched, but we want a good job, we don't want a shit job, so that's what we're going to do. Okay, this is underneath the car, the chassis on the right hand side where we've just repaired. There was a big rip through here which we showed earlier, very similar to what we had on the other side, which is the driver's side, left hand side there, where they've had a chain hooked onto it. So they've used it for straightening purposes. So what we've done, we've repaired that, but at the same time we've put a plate on the inside. So there's been welded across here and across down here, and that plate is probably about 5mm. That way if they ever got to put a chain there again, it'll definitely help in doing it. The only thing left to do now is a little bit of seam sealer with the two surfaces there, and then we'll seam seal the joints, and we'll seam seal this as well to stop any moisture in there. We'll finish cleaning out the rest of these rails, give them a blow in there, clean them all up, bit of rust converter where needed. We trial fitted the front pan fitted really good, so a couple of little points where I've got to bring it back a bit there up the top end. Got myself a little bit of a weld up message there for myself to fill that last 20mm of cut. Other than that, those pans went in quite well, so we'll keep moving. Now here we have a patch which is actually in behind the guard on the right hand side. What it was is where the floor pan comes around in the inside there and cuts in along here. So this piece, fairly importantly, I cut it out because it was rusted. Now I'm just using a magnet to hold it in place. So while you put it in, so you just sit it in like that. And that magnet can hold it in place there while you do a bit of a tack weld here, and then and back in like that. So there you go. So then you can weld that in place then. Alright, another patch in place. Okay, there you go. We just cleaned it up before we weld. Once again, the magnet, perfect idea for holding in place. If you're looking on the other side here. Magnet, no worries. So that should be alright. So. I tell you what, that's an awkward spot to get into. Looks good though. It does. Okay, what we've done, we've just seam sealed the original patches in the side here. Above here, we've welded a piece of metal across here, up here. There's the back of the patch we've put in here. There's another patch we put in there, and we put seam sealer on the top of it to give it, even though it's tucked away inside the car, won't be seen. There's your floor pans. Oh, the floor pan area has been done. The chassis, we still haven't quite finished off in the chassis yet. We've put the extra plate in there. We've seam sealed the between the two plates, so it's no longer have a problem with getting moisture amongst it. We've given this a bit of an etch prime across here as well, so that no moisture gets on it. Underneath the seat, which wasn't sandblasted, we've put some rust neutraliser on there as well, so we'll just wait for that to convert rust converter. Straighten out these little dents through here, across here as well, put it back down. But other than that, we've had a fairly successful sort of day, working away. Back in the shock tower, given it a good seam seal across the joint, so it's been ground now, so that'll keep the moisture from getting in there. But later on we'll do all these seams through here with seam sealer to stop a lot of this getting in there, you know, amongst the moisture and expansion when it rusts up. So, but overall, the L65's coming along very well.